Well, it was busy on Friday and Saturday. I says, I got to get something in here on the Thursday. And so I thought of comedy club, and I actually approached Yuck Yucks and said, look, here, I got this room. Why don't you open a satellite club here on one night a week type of thing. I actually don't know if I talked to Mark Breslin, but I did speak to somebody there because there was no email, nothing. Everything was over the phone. Oh yeah, we'll think about it and blah, blah, blah. Nothing happened. One day out of the blue, this tall guy comes walking. I was in here on probably a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, just tidying up or setting up for the evening or whatever. In walks this tall guy, and I'd seen him in the newspaper just recently as a Leaf lover, like Maple Leaf, something about the Maple Leafs, and he was quoted in the spec. And I said, this is that guy, and he comes in, he goes, how you introduce himself, Ben Guy and all this stuff. He was doing Veranda Beach Comedy Club down here on Maple Street, on Fairview and Maple on the corner there. So in walks this guy. So in walks Ben Guy. Hi, I'm Ben Guy. I'm a comedian. I do this show. I don't know if you've seen it, Veranda Beach. I did Chaps Comedy Club. I'd heard of those shows, but to tell you the truth, I never really watched them on CH. But he says, my contract or my deal is coming up with they're closing down or something. This Veranda Beach. I need a place to do this comedy show that I do on CH TV, and I'm going. Thank you. Yes. This sounds. Let's do it. When can we start? This is fantastic. I'm struggling with it. Yeah, the place was not going great guns at that point. No. We were packing them in here on Saturday night, but I needed to fill out the week a little bit more with. He gives me the details. Once every couple weeks we bring this and that. He lays the whole thing out with CHCH. And I'm thinking, how much does he want for nothing? Like the deal was, of course, I had to pay the comics, and so I became an executive producer of the show because basically I'm signing all the checks and paying people. So we started. That's how it started. I said, great. When do we start? And this was in the middle of the summer. I think we started that fall, maybe late September of '92. So now I had 3 nights. Actually, I had the Sunday night going because we started this singles death, but now I had 4 solid nights in the club: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So of course we started the show. Now that the show was great, we were on TV every week, Comedy at Club 54. I start promoting the club as seen on TV, this and that. Come and see our show, and printing up the tickets and getting the people in here every Thursday. Ben would do the tapings of the show every second Thursday, and he'd do a non-taping show in between. So Ben would book all the comics, he'd host the show. Then he says, the station wants us to do some promos, some commercials. I says, what the hell? I'm not a performer. What am I? No, you'll be fine. Come on, we're going to do these things. So I don't know if you ever saw any of the commercials we did. We had these little skits in the parking lot or down the street in front of a shopping mall. Or we even went to the Brick furniture store. We did a little spot in there. On the pool tables, we did a few. So, and I even brought my kids in. My daughter, Olivia, who was just a baby at the time. We're going back to '97. We were still shooting these little. She was born in September of '97, so we did one where she spit up in his face, and then when she was 2 years old, right over here, she was playing cards with him and beat him at poker, this type of thing. And it was a heck of a lot of fun to see those. And of course, I used to. My friends were like, holy crap, I was watching Monday night, because Monday Night Football, the feed would go through CH at that time. So of course, as you know, the US commercials were replaced by Canadian commercials. Some guys were telling me, I'm watching Monday Night Football, and here you come up on the screen with your promo for Comedy at Club 54. I thought, this is amazing. We're getting some real great, promotion out of this TV show. And of course it was the comedy night, which was on Thursdays at that point at the beginning. It eventually switched to Fridays, but it was on Thursdays. It really filled a gap in our weekly lineup of themes.
And there was 2 episodes that were shot Every second week?
Yeah, every second week. Of course, there's 52 weeks in a year, and we shot 26 episodes, so they repeated once over the year. So we would shoot 26 shows over 2 shows per taping, so 13 tapings every second week. So every second Thursday for over the months. Would cover about 4 months, I guess, of shows. But of course, we did the non-taping shows in between, and in the off season when there wasn't tapings. So I think the tapings took place from like September to January type of thing, October to January, that type of thing. Yeah.
And you pretty well had the who's who of comedy
at that time.
Through, right?
Yeah, at that time.
Do you remember some of the bigger acts?
Well, like Russell Peters, of course, is the biggest one. The guy's an international superstar now. But he was here, I think, 2 or 3 times. He's gone on to great, great things, and very funny guy. I don't know, we had another guy we would see on the Tonight Show, Geechee guy. I don't know if you remember that guy, big lanky guy, big tall guy. Couple other performers that I would see on maybe Jay Leno or An Evening at the Improv or something like that. So yeah, we had all the bigger names that were on the circuit at that time. For the Canadian content, CRTC stuff, we used to have 1 Canadian on each show. So one of the comics was American, 1 was Canadian.
Was it 13 years or 10 years?
10 years. From the fall of '92 until 2001, we taped the show.
I was the last act.
Were you?
I was the very last.
How about that? CHCH got bought out by Global at that time. They were on TV. Then they became one of the Global. And they cut back on all kinds of local programming that were happening. So we kind of got shuffled out of the mix. But that's okay. Went on into syndication, was on the Comedy Network for many years, getting a lot of plays. Heavy rotation, actually, on the Comedy Network. So that was great. And then in between, towards the late 90s, Ben came up with this cooking with comics idea, right? So Ben would bring in a comic like yourself. Yeah. I don't know where he got the idea. I found the chef, a lady I used to work with at the Sky Dome. She's a master. She would come in and do all the prep and teach Ben how to cook the thing. And you guys would come on and he'd do this cooking show. I don't know where Ben got, but I think they did 26 episodes of that.
Have you noticed, though, Gene, any shifts in audiences since the old days?
Well, yeah, the audiences are a little harder to please these days. Everything's so politically correct, and people don't want to laugh at edgy things the way they did before. Of course, you remember when we operated through the 90s and early 2000s, of course, smoking was, so it was a real, smoke-filled room with people were a little more casual, a little more boisterous. But yeah, the audience-wise, you got to watch who you're offending these days. I mean, isn't it something? People are always looking for a reason to be offended.
Do you get complaints?
Yeah, we'll get complaints on emails. People will sometimes complain about the what can I tell you, the homophobia or the racist language or this type of thing. It's comedy, eh? Come on, you got to be able to laugh at yourself and laugh at the world, but not anymore. It's kind of, you got to be correctly, can't say the wrong thing. Well, you know that better than anybody, being a performer. Yeah.
Now, I understand, Gene, you got some great news about
yes.
revival possibly for the TV show.
Yes, absolutely. I've been working on something for many months, back and forth with the CH programming director. And Ben and I have shipped off some episodes to them and reached a deal with them that they will start rebroadcasting Comedy at Club 54 this coming December. And we're hoping it's, as Sonia is the woman I've been in contact with, it looks like it's going to be a prime time spot on a Saturday night. This is fantastic news for us. The airing of those old Comedy Club 54 episodes is just going to be fantastic. For the club, for Ben, for myself, it's going to be great.